It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while and just smile. Just taking some clean, fresh air for me.
Hello everyone, this is Krubs Kovu bringing you guys another collaboration cast. I have chosen this game, and actually I should say we have chosen this game today because it is going to be a short replay. It is Sunday, guys, and I was thinking let's have a relaxing sort of showcase today, and here we go, guys. This is going to be featuring Opium playing as the PE on the south side, or should I say the western side of Semois, and we have GenociDevil playing as the Americans on the eastern side of Semois. Now, I am collaborating with somebody new today, and you guys are obviously going to be thrown away by this because you're so used to Ryan and greatness. Whoa, what could I be doing? I am going to be collaborating with this mystery guest collaborator. So, mystery guest collaborator, say hello.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Imperial Dane from the Propagandacasts, here to aid Mr. Krebs in his casting stuff.
Oh my gosh, guys, so it is the the famous Imperial Dane from across the water. So if you guys know me a bit, I am in Scotland, and he is literally across the North Sea. So anyway, Dane, let's get this show on the road in 3, 2, and 1. Now then, I think I'm actually going to focus on the Americans in the north. Dane, is it okay if you focus on the PE in the south?
Sure thing, I'm rather more used to playing with the Panzer Elite and the Wehrmacht, so covering the axis is much more regular for me.
And that's absolutely fine. So if we're all happy, then I guess we're all happy. So we have GenociDevil bringing out some an engineer squad, should I say. He's also producing another one, but he is going for an unusual build order, guys. He's not even going for a barracks straight away. So if we actually see at his capping order, he's extending as far as the munitions point right at the top, connecting it with another engineer squad, and he is getting down his barracks with his third engineer squad. So quite an interesting sort of thing at the moment. This could mean he will have a bit of capping power on the field. How's it going down on the western side, Imperial?
A sort of mirroring in that he's in fact getting now a second kitten crowd after getting one Panzer Grenadier team, and now a second team is moving out. Gewehr 43s have been equipped, but he's also going rather heavily on capturing territory, and in fact this means that the delay of the barracks won't be as devastating as it might otherwise have been had Opium been faster to get out Panzer Grenadiers.
So, oh my gosh, guys, we've got 2 Grenadiers, 3 Engineers. That is quite a bit of capping power on the field. Obviously, a lot of harassment. The Kettenkrats are very good at what they do, and that is capping, so they have that speed. Some quite interesting things to note. We haven't actually screened this game, but apparently there is going to be something a bit interesting that happens with the Kettenkrats later in the game. But, of course, I don't want to spoil it, and we'll get onto that a little bit later. Now, we have GenociDevil bringing out his first rifleman squad, I believe. I will switch over to him. And yes, that is a rifleman squad. So we've just basically got all this capping on the field at the moment. Just all these engineers, the Kettenkrads and so forth. They're sort of competing for points at the moment. So we are going to be seeing that first rifleman squad coming out. Going to be meeting Opium, it looks like, on the strategic point at the center over here. Could this be a good map for PE to hold the center, Imperial?
Well, that depends on the angle that he can do it from, because, I mean, if he can get a solid angle where he can get some distance or perhaps use the buildings in a proper angle, it can certainly be very devastating for the riflemen and will practically be a Stalingrad for them. If not, it can easily also end up very bloody for the Panzer Grenadiers, as they will be in lower numbers. And that, of course, can also work against them with all these angles and walls blocking line of sight. But it looks like the first Panzer Grenadier team is forced to retreat back into the building while the riflemen are being supported by engineers.
So very good use of the building cover right now. I would definitely say that that is a good idea when you got these little manned Panzer Grenadier squads. Whatever cover they can get will help them a lot, because as soon as one of these guys goes down, I'm sure you guys can do the math. That is a third of your fighting power going down with that one single squad member. So now we have a little engagement here with the engineers and the riflemen engaging the Panzer Grenadiers at very close range. This is not looking good for them, and so they have to retreat and get out of there. But we have a swarm of little Panzer Grenadiers on just a bit to the north of where this little engagement occurred. Just looking at their buddies who had to retreat.
Yeah, not the most successful first engagement for the Panzer Grenadiers, and now they're looking at perhaps being surrounded as riflemen are moving in from the north, and the Panzer Grenadiers are trying to use the cover, but it's not the best angle, and in fact the cover is not really doing much for them, and certainly won't do it when the riflemen are now coming in from the north.
Now, Imperial Dane, I like asking this question to Panzer Elite players, so I've already actually asked this to Ryan. Because since you like playing the Panzer Elite as your second most favorite faction, what do you think about the Gewehr 43? Do you think it is a good thing to upgrade straight away?
Well, I always do it because you might as well get the most out of it, plus the ability to quickly suppress or at least slow attack. It can be useful at times, but at the same time it is a bit lacking at the moment, and with the next patch it will in fact receive a buff. So it's clearly not the best weapon at the moment.
So so you indeed know what's going to be coming up in the next patch. So very good. There's going to be a lot of changes in the next patch, the beta, that is going to be coming sometime soon, guys. So we'll definitely have quite a bit of adjusting to do once that comes out. But at the moment, guys, we have a half-health rifleman squad just capping away at the field point, just trying to make it a bit of an advancement on the PE-controlled center. Now, we don't actually have any PE in the center. His Kettenkrads are going right away at all these points, just trying to cap away from the American. And the American is, funnily enough, actually cut off on the western side of the map at the moment. So quite interesting stuff.
Yes, indeed, although it looks like the Panzer Grenadier forces have been completely forced off the map in a rather unfortunate series of engagements. And currently the Americans are ruling most of the map, although he is quickly going for the Panzer Support Command. A bit curious. Usually they go for the Panzerjäger Command and then Armored Cars, but certainly proving to be a bit unorthodox. Although it also means that he's just built a Kampfgruppe company for no real purpose, except getting to the next tier.
So quite interesting. Now we actually have the Americans following in suit with their 3 engineers, 2 riflemen start with a motor pool. So what they could actually be building out of that, I'm guessing it's going to be an early M8 since we have not seen bars. It's too early in the game obviously, so we most likely will be seeing an M8 rush. Now,
could also be a T-17 armored car.
It could also be a T-17 armored car if we're talking about TOV units. So it could always be one of those two things. Just really depends at the moment, but we're obviously not sure.
Yes, indeed, but it looks like we're seeing a Panzer Grenadier team or squad hunting down an engineer, and he was caught out in the open, and it's now just a pile of flames right in the middle of the northern fields.
And that is quite a loss for the Americans just from that little engagement there. Now the Gewehrs are very useful, especially when they had used their little slow ability, because as you guys can see, they cut down that engineer squad no problem, and so that was big losses, losing that ammunition for that upgraded flamethrower. Now Imperial Dane was actually totally spot on that this was a T-17 armored car. He is definitely a gypsy. He can obviously predict the future. So this is the T-17 armored car coming onto the field, just about to provide a lot of hassling power against these little Panzer Grenadier squads.
Yes, and it can also, if used probably, do a bit of harm to any anti-tank half-tracks, because if it can't get it off correctly, it can stun it with its white phosphorus shells and then turn it into mush.
You could definitely do that, but then again, we could also see the other thing happening as well, the tread breaker going down on T-17.
Yes, indeed, and we are in fact seeing 2 anti-tank half-tracks coming out from the Panzer Support Command as we are speaking.
So obviously a viable strategy. I mean, he's obviously recognized that the American is going for a fast T-17 rush. So obviously there's going to be vehicles on the field, and so he's responding correctly by getting these anti-tank half-tracks. So I like that. I like seeing the players adapt correctly, even though you might have a sort of build order in your mind pre-game of what you're going to be doing. Now that is totally fine, but you need to be able to adapt because you don't know what your opponent is going to be doing. So we see that that little light AT half track, just a bit south to the base. Do we see another one anywhere else? No, it is still on the build and it is just done.
And we see a second T-17 out for the Americans. In fact,
two
joining up the
T-17s.
first. Yes, indeed, although no mines, which I do find a bit odd, as those can be particularly devastating against the Panzer Grenadiers' small numbers and, of course, light vehicles.
I definitely agree with you that the mines could be such a great thing at the moment. If you guys look on my screen right now, obviously Imperial Dane cannot see this, but on this little bridge right here, next to the fuel point, would be such a great place for a mine. Easily be able to take out something there, a Kettenkrad, or damage the engine of a light AT half-track, or even take out a few Panzer Grenadiers. 25 ammunition investment, very good. Here we have a little engagement between two anti-tank half-tracks, between two 17s. The first little T-17 going down, a tiny bit of damage on the light AT half-track, but they fully outnumber the T-17 at the moment, and this T-17 really needs to get away, but unfortunately being immobilized. Oh, this is a very bad day for the T-17s, and that T-17 is going down. So well done, Imperial Dane. It looks like your guy has done a good job with those light AT half-tracks.
Yes, indeed, and it certainly was a bit of a miscalculated move from the American commander to just send in the
T-17s. I totally agree with that. Now the T-17s actually do quite well against the half-track armor because they're obviously lightly armored, no problem, they can penetrate them. But then again, if we just look at the name, it's literally light AT half-track, so it will do a good job at taking out light tanks. So there you go, guys. That's why the T-17 went down. But funnily enough, we see GenociDevil bringing out his third T-17. Now that is the only one on the field at the moment, but easily being countered by a third light AT half-track. This is quite a fearsome force. It's basically 3-1 at the moment.
Yes, indeed, and the other two has retired to the Panzer Elite base for repairs, and it looks like he's getting a mortar half-track as well to begin bombarding American positions.
Now, do you think the mortar half-track is actually a good idea at the moment? It seems like the Americans are actually quite content with their vehicles. They don't actually have that much in terms of infantry.
Well, the mortar half-track can be used against immobilized vehicles, in fact, but at the moment, considering there's not much in terms of support or large infantry forces, I'm not entirely sure it's actually necessary. And I think a Panzer IV might have perhaps been a better move.
I think it might have been actually as well. Now we have a small engagement.
And it looks like it.
On you go, Dane. I think it's your turn.
No worries. There we go. AT half-track up in smoke, knocked out by two T-17s, and we see the half-track moving in for the kill from the south, although no support for them.
I actually like the bit of coordination between these two little T-17s. We saw that T-17 with a badly damaged engine nearly about to be taken out by that light AT half-track, but luckily this T-17 coming in around to take out that other light AT half-track that was by itself. Obviously have a bit of cooldown on that tread breaker ability, so I liked how that they supported each other basically. Now, we actually have, I just want to mention one more thing. We have field repairs from the Americans, so that's why we saw this T-17 go